I'm working through some things on the airwaves live in terms of like what to do next. It is so frustrating to know and to see exactly what we need to do. Like I see the strategy. And every day to hear people run counter and there's all of this propaganda and negativity. And it's like, this is not difficult. Here's what I see. I see people with a tremendous amount of buying power and a tremendous amount of tertiary strength over the years, over the ancestors, strength that is unmatched, internal strength of character, not living up to our full potential, primarily because we have been indoctrinated into anti-blackness too. So we don't even know how much power and strength we have, but they do. The fear is not in, I'm going to lose my life. I'm fearful of my life. The fear is you're going to wake up and know who you really are, and I'm going to be subjugated to you, not because you're going to put me under your foot, but because just natural selection says so. I haven't worked as hard, as long, and built these muscles and done these things and worked on myself and had to manage my anger and rage and all these other things that you've done over 400 years for survival's sake. And now you're here. Now you're here. If you ever took off your mask and you ever walked into your full purpose, I can't compete with you. That's what this battle's about. So the frustration is, how do I say this, not denigrate anybody, not make anybody feel bad about themselves? These are just facts that are coming out of my, that I've studied, and have a conversation about what does this mean? And how do we navigate this? Well, here's how we navigate it. We show up and vote, make sure that there's somebody in office that's going to put good judges in so that we don't have to worry about that part of it. And then we start going to work building our neighborhoods and communities and making sure that our children's children have the life that they deserve to have because they can. We don't need anything. Begging and scraping and bowing and asking. No, this is simple. Voting is transactional. Step number 10 in our 10 steps to do things. It's transactional. You vote. You require of the people that you vote for certain things. They don't do it. Boom. Okay. Find the next candidate to run against them. Vote them out. It's rinse and repeat. Other people do it. Let's show up and join police forces in our own neighborhood so that we can be policed by people who look like us, who know us, who come from the community. Teachers, same thing. Rinse and repeat. It's not hard. I sit here fighting. We're having silly battles. No vote. I'm going to hold it hostage, all this dumb stuff while we have a tyrant, a fascist, somebody who really doesn't care about your life in office with the power of the pen to executive order your ass back into slavery. I said it, and that's a fact. May not be slavery, but slavery by any other name smells a stink. Let's go to the phones, 866-801-8255. Doreen in Long Island. Doreen in
Hi,
Long
Karen.
Island. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
I'm
Hi.
so glad to speak with you. I just want to say that I'm a professional. I'm a nurse, and I live out in Long Island. And in 2016, it was a big secret that they were all whispering to each other, professionals, doctors, social workers, and they're all melanemic. And I'm only the chocolate person around. And they were all whispering to each other that they were going to vote for Trump. This time around, working in Southampton, okay, now they're not whispering. Now they're emboldened because Trump is here. They love him. If you come out to the East End, you see signs, Trump. You see signs on their houses. You see the American flag and the star, the 5-pointed star on their house. They're letting you know who they are. So when I hear these young kids, my stepson said he was at a Black Lives rally and he's speaking, but then he says he's not going to vote. That angers me. We were knocking on doors, my husband and I, to vote, to get out the vote for Barack Obama in 2012. It angers me that these kids are not. I understand what you're saying, Karen. I hear you, and I agree with you. We have to do something, and I'm not going to stand. I'm not going to sit back and let these melanemic people tell me what I should be, how I should fit in. Oh, you're okay because you don't act like them, the others. What does that mean? No, I'm chocolate just like the others. I have melanin in my skin. But that doesn't make me different. I'm a nurse. I bleed just like you. I just had COVID. And you know, the President of the United States went on and he advocated for hydroxychloroquine. That almost killed me. I was on a vent for 33 days. That's why my voice sounds like this. 33 days I was on a vent. Almost died, and I'm a nurse. And they're okay with that. My cousin had to advocate for me, a black nurse that has worked in a hospital for over 9 years out here in the same hospital, to have a clap out. And you know what? News 12 didn't come and cover that because I'm a chocolate nurse. This is the world that we live in. This is America.
Yes, it is. God bless you, Doreen. I'm glad and grateful that you recovered, that you're still recovering. I'm glad that you're part of this family. We need more people who are willing to roll up their sleeves. But what you're saying is breaking my heart, because the reality is, and I think that that's the thing that most of us are having a hard time grappling with, that there are human beings that really, really could care less if we're here, that they're maybe not gleeful that people are being killed, but they don't care. It doesn't bother them. It doesn't bother them to see this man shot in the back. Instead, they want to tweet out like Megyn Kelly did that he had a knife, when this kid had an AR-17 and got captured without a problem. No problem. He had an assault rifle, Kyle Rittenhouse, and he's 17. AR-15, I'm sorry. Is that an assault rifle, Smith? Is an AR-15 an assault rifle? I think it is. Okay. I don't know the damn calibers. I'm not a gun person, but I might need to be. Kyle Rittenhouse taken without incident. Not a scratch on him. Dylan Roof, not a scratch on him. Just picked up. No problem. And then armed and dangerous. They suspected that Jacob Blake had a knife? You are trained to de-escalate and to capture somebody that might have a knife? You got on body armor, body cameras, guns, tasers. That was the best you could do, is shoot him, not just shoot him once, 7, 8 times in the back. You weren't afraid for your life. You just devalued his. That's what that is. And I think that's the hardest thing to swallow, that you literally can work your whole life. You can have these children and put everything into them, and they're educated and they're beautiful and they're smart, or they're not. Some of them are dummies. Some of them are idiots. But they're your babies, that they could be out in the world and be murdered indiscriminately by somebody who just doesn't value them as people. That a Mike Brown, I don't give a damn how many, he could have stolen every cigarello in the convenience store and smoked every pound of weed in all of Ferguson. Didn't deserve to be shot like a dog and then lay in the street for 4 or 5 hours with a white sheet over him. If you tell me that a white kid could be laying in the street for 4 or 5 hours like a dog, I'm here for the conversation. I'd like to see it. I know when they rape, like the Stanford guy, they get off. When they kill vehicular homicide, like that kid that had, what do you say, affluenza? Teenager, drunk driver. Judge was like, oh, he has a future. Oh, we got to give him another chance because I see him. That could be my son. Gets out, and what does he do? Does it again. Not kill somebody, but violates his, and his mama tries to take him to Mexico. Who has the privilege to do that? 866-801-8255. Only in America, but I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of having this conversation. And, yeah, I really am. It's really tiresome. All right. Kamala Harris, if y'all vote, will be our next vice president. She had something to say today about Jacob Blake. Let's play that.
Justice. Let's talk about that. Because the reality is that the life of a black person in America has never been treated as fully human. And we have yet to fulfill that promise of equal justice under law. We will only achieve that when we finally come together to pass meaningful police reform and broader criminal justice reform and acknowledge, yes, acknowledge and address systemic racism. We will only come closer to achieving that when we finally come together.
Thank you, Senator Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm going to say it. And all those who are like, I'm turned off by her. I can't hear her voice. I don't like her. And I don't want to, she crime. And now she put black people up. I didn't hear anything from any of the clips of Pence saying anything remotely similar. I saw Jared Kushner because I watched CNBC because I'm watching the stock market. He had the nerve to be on CNBC with his privileged ass. I watched the whole documentary about his crooked ass family on Netflix, and he had the nerve to say something about the NBA. Those players having the luxury of being able to, and that, oh my God, these people. And you think about how insidious and evil it is to make children put their right hand over their heart and pledge allegiance to a flag that really has never really seen them. How evil is that? And they grow up believing that they're included in that because they've been taught this thing to say. And of course you expect it until it happens that you aren't. It's not one nation under God. It's definitely not under God. It's not indivisible. No liberty and justice for all. Nope. But I learned that, and I can say it because I memorized it because I was forced to. And it was all a lie. 866-801-8255. What do we do with that hypocrisy? Michael in D.C., thank you for calling. Welcome.
Hey, Karen. Thanks for having me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I just wanted to comment about when you were having a discussion with the person about why do white people follow Trump when they're not receiving any of the riches that he and his cronies get. And I always think back to a quote from Lyndon Johnson when he said, if you can convince the lowest white person that they're better than the highest black man, they'll give you their money and their vote. And I think that's the bottom line. They're ignorant. They don't know anything. They just want to hear that they're higher than black people. Despite all of our success and everything we do to uplift ourselves, they don't look at that. They just see all the negativity that, honestly, this government feeds them. Like, they don't think for themselves. And I think that's really the bottom line. And that's one of the biggest problems.
I agree with
ignorance.
you. I agree, but it's simply not true, right? It's simply not true. And this is the problem that you could even line up and say that there's any equality between a Trump and a Barack Obama. Like that there could be any comparison to Michelle Obama and Melania Trump. Except for the melanin or lack of melanin. That seems to be the great equalizer in people's minds, and it's really ridiculous. But it's a house of cards that is literally falling onto them. These are the last gasps of something that is dying. I smell the caucus. The earth smells the caucus. And I'm just saying, if we can hold on, just hold on, everything is going to flip. But when it does, be ready. And this is my greatest concern, is that many of us are not ready for the flip. We have not prepared ourselves for what happens when the flip comes. When the flip comes, are you ready to take the wheel? Are you taking the wheel of your own life? Are you driving your own life? Are you driving your own? If you can't do it in the space that you have, what is it going to look like when you get it all? I don't know. Let's go to the phones. 866-801-8255 is the number. Let's go to Kevin in Pennsylvania. Hey.
Hello, Karen. Thank you for taking my call.
Welcome.
And I want to say that the judges historically have never given cops the appropriate sentences when they kill unarmed black people with the few that they get convicted. And if you take the times when a black person kills a cop, they probably don't even get out of jail anymore. And I think people need to start focusing on judges as a part of the problem and don't just look exclusively at cops. Because cops don't have the absolute power to kill and get away with it. They need the help of district attorneys who pick mostly white juries, and they have judges who are mostly white that give them sentences like Johannes Mersal, who killed Oscar Grant III, and the judges that gave the killers of Mr. Glover in New York and Randy Evans in New York, they gave their killer cops Torsney and I forgot the other guy's name. Anyway, my point is we need to look at judges. We need to bring them in the equation. We need to name their names, like Robert Perry, who gave the killer of Oscar Grant 2 years for his.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely in. If you listen to the show daily, I think we do talk about that. I know Drew did a whole sermon. That's what I'm calling them now on the judges and the importance of the judges. But it requires us voting, though. Kevin, are you voting?
Oh, yes, without a doubt. But when you start talking about just the voting, there is other aspects of it, too. Because
I know. We do talk about the importance of the judges. I think I've said that a number of times about not just Trump's appointments, which have exceeded and eclipsed anything that Obama did while in office, as being important. But it's all steps. There's never either or. We need to do all things. We need to do everything. We need to march. We need to protest. Of course, we need to vote. We need to have super PACs. We need to invest. We need to have businesses. Like, we have to do everything. We need to have financial power, political power, personal power. We need it all. And I know for some people, you're exhausted because you're doing a lot. And a lot of you are doing a lot, especially if you're in this family. You're doing a lot, probably too much. We need more people to step up. But thank you for your call, Kevin. You're spot on. Let's head over to Miami. Vince, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon, Karen. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I've been better, but, it's disturbing about the issues and the problems that's going on in our communities with this police brutality. And I just want to make something real quick and brief because I don't want to take up no time, but I just want to put a solution out there that maybe we could try. Instead of taking pictures on social medias like Instagram and talking about businesses and doing this and just sharing all type of other things, let's talk about the police brutalities and flood them with videos on a daily basis for at least the next 3 to 4 days. Just those videos talking about injustices in America. And that's all I wanted to say.
Okay. It's not a bad idea, but how do we enforce it? And quite frankly, people need their outlets. I'm not going to police how people get down. I wish more people would, but listen, I don't even spend all day, every day, every minute of every day doing social justice and fighting for, like we're human beings. And part of the lack of humanity that we have is to not have joy. Like, they're literally stealing our joy. To see all of these brothers break down, these athletes break down, crying, Doc Rivers yesterday crying, Robert Ory crying. I'm like, yeah, there was a baseball player or a football player also in tears. I think it was a baseball player in tears around what's happening. Chris Webber yesterday. I want to play that clip when we come back, Smiz. I mean, it's a lot. And these brothers are not emotional brothers. These aren't the guys. These are our gladiators, our warriors. They're not the ones that cry. They're crying. Their souls are hurting right now. Where's the joy? Well, it's hard to have joy when, you look up and you go, wow, you could just. And here's what's infuriating. We watched George Floyd, 8 minutes and 46 seconds. The entire world was on pause for that. And not more than a couple of months later, you as a police, you feel the need that on the heels of that, I'm going to just fire my weapon and kill another black man, which tells you that they know something about justice in this country. They know something that they feel, and this is not the first or second, third person that's been shot since George Floyd. But they know something. What do they know? And that's what's concerning to me. That on the heels of this, that a police officer could do this. On the heels of George Floyd literally setting this country on fire. And they are tweaking. They want you to react. They want you to react. They need you to react. They're ready for your reaction.